Hi, I'm Brian, and this is my co-host James.
Hi, today we're coming to you from Portland, Oregon, USA.
Welcome to Oregon.
Today we are so happy to have you into our kitchen for this episode of Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living.
In this episode, we are making a vegan version of the American classic pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie has been in this country for many generations. Primarily it's made in the autumn. It is a symbol of the harvest, the bounty. Most of us here have wonderful childhood memories of this dessert, stemming from our own childhoods. I remember my mother and grandmother always made it, and just the smell of it alone reminds me of home. So, Brian, tell us about these ingredients here.
Well, we are going to start with the pumpkin filling, and we started with an organic pumpkin, which we have cut in half and seeded and peeled, and we've cut it into sizes about like this. Along with this, we have a teaspoon of vanilla, a half cup of barley malt with about a tablespoon of maple syrup added to it to give it a little depth, and we have a fourth of a teaspoon of nutmeg, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a half teaspoon of ginger, and some sea salt.
Great.
And then after that, we will put in some kuzu root.
This all sounds delicious,
Mixed with,
Brian.
yeah.
Now, so
all right.
Where do we begin?
Well, we have cut this up, and we have put it in a pan behind us, and we add to that, we add about a cup of water.
Okay, I've got the water here, so let me add a cup of water to that.
We put that on high
Okay.
and cover it, and bring it to a boil, and then we will let it simmer for about 5 to 7 minutes.
That sounds great. Okay, so what should we do next?
Well, we should start on the pie dough, which we have some whole wheat pastry flour.
Okay,
and
great.
To that, we'll add about a pinch of salt, a little sea salt to that.
Okay.
And if you want to whisk that up, mix
Great.
that.
Make sure it's all blended in. Okay.
And to the pastry flour, we have about 1/8 of a cup of canola oil, and we're going to pour this in. And James, can you mix that with your hands?
Okay. I certainly will. Lots and lots of good thoughts.
I'm going to check on this to see how these are doing while you're kneading that dough.
Great.
Yeah, you want these just about tender, so then we can mash them up. Almost there.
Double check me here, but I think that this looks pretty much incorporated.
Oh yeah, and we're going to add about a half a cup of water to that.
Okay.
And try to shape it in the form of a ball.
Also, I'm going to blend it all together, and it's going to harden up.
Yep.
Okay.
Just enough water to make it mix together.
Yeah, it's getting sticky there.
Do you need some more water?
Yes, please. Great. So let me get this all together here. Almost there.
This needs to be turned down.
So you said we let that simmer, right?
Yeah, I love pumpkin pie.
Doesn't have to be Thanksgiving or Christmas for me. Any time of the year is just fine.
Awesome. Once you form that into a ball, we can let that rest for a few minutes. We have some pre-made dough I will grab, and we can roll that out.
Sounds
Here,
fantastic.
I will hand you the cutting board.
All right. I think we're ready to roll it out.
Good.
Okay.
I'll take that for you.
Thank you. All right. This ought to be interesting. Let's see here.
Yeah, you get it into shape to fit about your pie plate.
Okay. So not too thick and not too thin.
Yeah, that's probably good on that.
Okay. Let's
Roll up
take
the sides.
And make sure.
And since there's no butter in the recipe, using whole wheat pastry flour is important to give it that flakiness of
And if it comes off in the wrong place, we can just put it right back.
Let me check on our squash.
That is starting to
Our
smell
pumpkin.
pretty good back there. It is almost
That
ready.
looks good.
Great.
Here, I'll take that for you.
Thank you.
We
Okay.
can fit that in there.
All right. So we'll take this pretty dough and put this in here.
And
There
we have to
go.
bake this for how long?
What, the pie crust itself?
Yes, pre-bake it before we pour the filling in.
I would guess, what, about 10 minutes?
On
Just-
350?
350. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just tear
Yeah, just
all around
excess
here.
off.
Yeah. And let me borrow a fork from you, Brian. And I will put the homey touch on it here. And put the little indentations like my mom and granny always did. And something that I do remember about pie crust is that you should always, before you bake your pie crust, you should poke some holes in the bottom.
Yes, so it doesn't bubble up and cook uneven.
That's right. All right. So at this point, we will put this in the oven. And
Bake that for like 10 minutes.
we will bake that for 10 minutes, and you should be good to go.